All right, so we have our map set up here. Now there's quite a few other things that we need to do to be able to have markers and click events and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and open up our app component TS file and go up to where we're importing the directives, and we have a few other things we need to add here. So I'm going to put this on a separate line here, and let's put a comma here, and we want a few other things. We want the Maps API loader. Actually, that should be uppercase PI. We want the NoOp Maps API loader. We want the mouse event package. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that should do it. Alright, and then we're going to go and we already have our directives. Let's start to add some properties in the class here. Alright, so we're going to need a starting zoom level. So let's call this zoom, and that's going to be a number, and we'll set it to 10. Okay, we have the latitude and longitude here. This is the start position. And let's create a property for the markers, and that'll have its own type of marker. And then we need our constructor function. And we might as well put our markers in here now. Now it's going to be an array of objects. Okay, each marker will have its own object. And let's put it, let's see. Actually, you know what we'll do is go right here and just set that to an array. Okay, so each marker is going to have a name. So we'll call this one company 1. It's going to have a latitude value, which I'm going to grab now. Paste that in. It's going to have a longitude, LNG. And then draggable, which is going to be a Boolean. It's going to be either true or false. We'll set this one to true. Alright, so let's copy that, and we'll do 2 more. This one will be company 2 and company 3. We'll set this to false. And then I'm just going to grab the latitude and longitude for these two. Okay, so there's our markers. Now, ultimately, this is going to come from local storage from our service, but just for development, for testing, we're going to just keep it right in here. All right, now notice we have an error where we have marker. That's because we didn't create this yet. So what we're going to do is go outside of the class here, way down at the bottom, and let's say marker type. This is going to be an interface. Okay, it's going to have a name. We want to put a question mark here because it's optional. It's going to be a string. We'll have lat for the number, LNG, which is also a number, and then we'll have draggable, which is a Boolean. Okay, so now you can see that that error is now gone. All right, so there's our markers. So let's go ahead and save that. And then we're going to go and open up our app component HTML file, and we're going to add quite a bit to this map here. Okay, we'll put each property on its own line. Okay, so we have our latitude, we have our longitude. Let's do zoom and set that to zoom. And let's do, let's see, disable default UI. I'm going to set that to false. Actually, this needs brackets around it. Okay, now we'll do zoom control. And I'm going to set that to false. Now you could make these properties if you wanted to, but I don't want to have too many. Alright, and then let's see, we're also going to add an event handler here. We're going to say map click, and that's going to equal map clicked, and then we're going to pass in the event. That should be a $sign. Alright, now what we're going to do is add the markers. So let's do SEBM Google Map marker. Okay, now this is where we want to put our NG4 because we want to loop through the markers. So we'll say NG4 is going to equal let marker of markers, and let's put semicolon here, and then we're going to say let I equal index. Okay, so we can get that index. And then these are also going to have a click value, a click event. So we'll call this marker click. Alright, and when that fires off, it's going to call a function called clicked marker. And then we can pass in the marker itself as well as the index, or I. Alright, and then we're going to put in our latitude, which is going to equal marker dot. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is change this marker to just M. And then down here, we'll pass in M, and this will be M dot latitude. Or M dot lat. Longitude, M dot LNG. Then we'll have marker draggable, and we're going to set that to M dot draggable. Alright, now when we drag it, we're going to have an event called drag end, and we want that to fire off when we're done dragging it. So we're going to set that equal to a function called marker drag end. Alright, and then we'll pass into that M for the marker as well as the event. Alright, that looks good. And then we also need an element for the info window. So that's going to be SEBM Google Map dash info dash window. I don't know why sometimes it auto-completes and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I like this editor for TypeScript, but it does have some flaws. Alright, now in here, all we're going to have is, we'll put some strong tags, and we're just going to have the name, so that'll be m.name. Alright, and I think that should do it as far as the map HTML. So let's save that and take a look, and you can see we have our markers. If I click on one, it's going to show us the name. Alright, let's open the console. Let's see what this is. Okay, so this is just telling us that clicked marker and all those other ones, they're not functions, and that's fine because we haven't created them yet. Alright, so I think we're going to stop here now that we have our markers, and in the next video we'll take care of these events.